Let's talk about another scary Supreme Court decision that came out this week that will impact you, regardless of your sex or political affiliation. Let's talk about Vega v. Tecole. Essentially, law enforcement officers no longer have an incentive, or should I say disincentive, to read you your Miranda rights during arrest. You know, that phrase, you have the right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
The Republican Supreme Court is on a tear, putting prayer back into public schools while throwing out half a century of legal abortion rights. And as TikToker and former Survivor 42 contestant Hai Jiang warns us, the court's 6 conservatives aren't done yet.
On Thursday, SCOTUS pretty much neutered Miranda rights, which was established in 1966 to protect citizens' rights to not self-incriminate during government interrogation. So moving forward, an officer who chooses not to or forgets to read you your Miranda rights can use your compelled statements against you in court and not be sued for it.
Hai is talking about Vega v. Tecole, a case decided on the same day as the court's decision to overturn Roe. So it's understandable if you missed it. In Vega, the court's Republicans started a multi-pronged attack on Miranda rights, which require police officers to tell you you have a right to remain silent, you have a right to an attorney, and other constitutional protections for the accused.
Cops can introduce coerced statements from you, which may or may not be used against you, which may or may not lead to your conviction, but regardless of outcome, whether you're guilty or not, you cannot sue them for damages after the fact. We've taken accountability off of the table. So hi, what can I do to protect myself? Well, as my friend and favorite public defender, Eliza Orlins, would say,
do not talk to the cops, ask for a lawyer, and then shut the up.
Police officers can get in big trouble if they arrest someone without reading them their Miranda rights. Officers can be sued in civil court, often forcing departments to pay huge settlements to those whose rights have been violated. At least, that used to be true. Under the Vega decision, Americans can no longer sue police for violating their Miranda rights. And it won't stop there. Let's get one thing perfectly clear. Conservatives hate the Miranda decision. They claim it took power away from police, who feel they should be able to question suspects indefinitely without a lawyer present. And Supreme Court Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito see Miranda as fundamentally flawed in the same way Roe was, even if they can't quite explain why. With the GOP's new conservative supermajority on the court, Republicans are preparing to throw out decades of long-standing precedent, and Miranda is directly in the crosshairs. The Vega decision only killed one part of Miranda, but Alito has left himself plenty of wiggle room to come back for the rest. In his decision overturning Roe last week, Alito argued that past judges allowed Roe to stay in place mainly because it was an old and socially important precedent. That's almost the same logic argued by the court 2 decades earlier in Dickerson v. United States, which upheld Miranda as the settled law of the land. But in this bizarro world of Trumpified courts, a long-standing precedent is now a dangerous thing to be, and settled law doesn't seem so settled anymore. If Alito and Thomas make good on their pledge to overturn Miranda in full, that would reshape American policing in a dark and dangerous way. You would no longer need to be informed of your right to a lawyer. Many people would never know they have a right to remain silent, or that a court is required to give them a lawyer if they can't afford one. And just like before Miranda warnings, many more innocent people would end up in jail. You can see how this starts to get bad, fast. In Alito's world, police can willingly violate your civil liberties during an arrest. And thanks to his opinion in Vega, you can't even sue the cops even if their own department agrees they violated your rights. Alito, Thomas, and the court's right wing are determined to elevate police above any meaningful civil regulation. And they're currently winning. The court's attacks on Miranda are just the beginning. Test cases are working their way up throughout the country, funded by right-wing groups like the Federalist Society. And those test cases aren't just coming for Miranda rights. They're targeting your basic privacy rights as well. Without significant reform to America's highest court, there's little left to stop them.